So I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I am a fan of Book of Mormon. I've interviewed Diego Enrique, who is the Elder Cunningham in the tour right now.
Cool,
And
sweet.
so I'm excited to have you on. And so for the first part, can you please explain a little bit about yourself for those who don't know who you are?
Yeah, so my name is Jack Baugh, and I'm the standby for Elder Price on Broadway in Book of Mormon.
That's awesome. And so you
Yeah.
recently just got cast into this. And so what was the audition process like for Book of Mormon?
Yeah, so I'd gone in before about like a year and a half ago, actually, for Elder Cunningham. But then this time they had me come in for Elder Price, and I started with a self tape, just of I Believe. And then they brought me in for an in-person audition. And then after that, we did a work session. And then we had another callback. And then one more final callback after that, where I sang a bunch of the songs and a bunch of the sides. But yeah, so it was like 5 rounds. But yeah, over the course of like 2 weeks.
Two weeks. Oh, that all took over 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was
That's
it
pretty
was
quick then.
pretty quick. It was pretty
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And so, you also were recently in the Office musical parody, correct? And
Yeah.
so, can you talk a little bit about your experience in that show?
Yeah. So I was there right after I graduated from AMDA from 2022 to 2023. And I started as the male swing, so I covered like three roles, and it was pretty challenging, but I think it was like a solid first job to have. And then after that, after a while, I got promoted to full time Dwight. Um, and so comedy musicals, I think it was kind of nice to do that for like a year. So I kind of got comedy musicals under my belt a little bit. So it makes the Book of Mormon a little easier because I've been doing comedy musicals for a while.
That's awesome. And so, for the theater people who don't know that much about theater, what is the difference between a standby and an understudy?
Yeah, so I would say there's really no difference. So like standby means that if the guy who's on right now, Mr. Kevin Clay, if he's not able to perform, then I would be the first one that they would call. But if I'm not available, then we have a first cover and then we have a second cover. And they're both in the ensemble, Thomas Dolger and Ben Laxton. And so if I'm not available, then they would call them. So we've got three Elder Price covers just in case.
That's awesome. And so,
Yeah.
when you were younger, what got you into theater?
Yeah, so I was mainly into sports like my whole life. Like I was specifically into baseball. I love baseball. Um, but I think the thing that got me into theater was like I started doing choir a lot in middle school, and then I did a production of Seussical where I was Horton, but my voice was too high, so I had to sing all the songs up the octave. But I don't know, I just like fell in love with the people mainly. I feel like theater people are the best people. They're just the kindest, and it. I feel like theater is just a huge community, and I feel like no matter where you are, whether you're in high school or on Broadway, I feel like we all kind of connect in the sense that we all chose the hardest industry in the world. Um, but I think it's honestly the community really got me into it.
That's great. And so, the Book of Mormon is a very comedic musical.
Yeah,
And so, what are some of your favorite lines without spoilers that you say, and then what are some of your favorite lines that your co-host say?
man, there's so many that Elder Cunningham says, specifically Cody Jamison Strand. He is one of the funniest people you'll ever meet in the world. Um, I would say one of my favorite lines. Um, are we allowed to curse on here?
Yeah,
Okay. One of my favorite lines that I say is in Act Two, and it's "I can't believe Jesus called me a dick." It's right after Jesus finishes calling me a dick. Um, and then for Elder Cunningham, man, he has a bunch that he says, but honestly, just like I would say in Act One, he has a line where he says, uh, uh, according to rule number 72, we're not allowed to go anywhere without each other except the bathroom. And he does a little giggle afterwards, and it kills me every time. It's so hard not to break.
that's awesome. And so, what is the hardest part about trying to make a character your own, especially in a musical that's been around for such a while?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, I would say the hardest part is honestly because there, especially for Elder Price. I mean, there have been so many amazing Elder Prices. I mean, our current Elder Price, Kevin Clay, he's been doing it for I think like 10 years now. But he's been doing it on Broadway for like 4 or 5. But he and Andrew Rannells and Gavin Creel, they each have such distinct versions. And like the main advice that I got from Kevin was just to make Elder Price like a heightened version of yourself. So I think a lot of the choices that I make on stage that are different from other people are because it's choices that I would make as a person if I was thrust into Uganda in this situation. Um, but I think just kind of like trusting your instincts. And we have a great team here with our music director and associate director and main director. They all encourage you to make it your own. And if you make a choice that is a little too far, they'll always reel you in. But it's easier for them to reel you in than to try to like bring
Yeah.
it out of you. So I think that's probably the hardest part is just there's so many perfect versions of Elder Price, and so just got to make it a heightened version of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And so this next question is similar to the one about the lions, but do you have a favorite scene that you perform as Elder Price?
I would say my favorite scene is in Act Two. It's called the cafe scene, and I did it for my audition as well. And it's where he has a huge. First of all, he's drunk on caffeine, but he has a huge monologue about Orlando, and that's where you get to see the true raw version of Elder Price, which is all this kid wants is he just wants to go to Orlando. And I feel like that like stripped down version of Elder Price, because the entire show um, is just Elder Price like picking himself back up and standing up straight and then being knocked down and then picking himself back up and then being knocked down. And so I feel like this is the first moment where we just see the true raw Elder Price, and I love it so much.
That's awesome. And so what advice would you give to your younger self?
Ooh, advice I would give to my younger self. Um, well, probably number one, get into dance classes because I, for a long time, I couldn't dance. But I would say overall, just like trust yourself. And I think that a lot of, especially me as a younger version of myself, I would often compare myself to other people. But you kind of just have to trust yourself and trust your talents and trust that you are good enough. And I think as soon as I realized like, hey, I'm good enough just the way I am. I don't need to change any part of myself. I can just be myself and that's good enough. I think that is where I started finding more success, and I wish I would have done that a little earlier than I did.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so this next question ties into the last one, but what advice would you give to younger performers who'd like to pursue acting as a career?
Yeah, I would say, man, there's a lot of things, but I would say that your journey is your journey. And I think that, again, it ties back to that comparison thing of it doesn't matter what school you go to, it doesn't matter what awards you win, it doesn't matter what competitions you do. What matters is the work that you put into it and the joy that you put into it. And I think that the more you can find the joy in what you do, the easier your life is going to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And so I did this with Diego, but I like to do guest lyrics with people that I interview. So
Okay, cool.
I have 5 songs from the show, and
Okay.
they're not in like order from like order of appearance. So they're not always gonna be your songs too.
Okay. I got
Uh
to test my knowledge here.
so we're gonna start off with a simple one that is yours.
Uh,
You cannot just believe part way, you have to believe it at all.
Cannot just leave far away. You have to believe in it all. My problem was doubting the Lord's will instead of standing tall.
That is
There you
correct.
go.
The next one is uh because that is definitely against God's will.
Oh, oh, that's in Making Things Up Again, Arnold. Oh man, that is definitely against God's will. I don't know. Is that from Making Things Up Again?
It is, yes.
Oh man, give it to me.
Says who? Where in the book does it say anything about sleeping with a baby?
Oh, dang it. Shoot, I gotta study that song more.
You had the song right.
See, I get a half point. I get a half
Yeah.
point for that.
The next one, uh, turn it off like a light switch. Just go click.
Uh, it's a cool little Mormon trick.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And then this one is uh also this is yours. So
Yeah.
my best friend.
Oh man, that's from you and me. Uh, so quit singing about it and do it. How ready and psyched are we?
Nope.
No. Oh shoot. What is it?
It is I'm something I've foreseen. Now that I'm 19, I'll do
Oh,
something incredible that blows God's freaking mind.
dang. My music director is gonna be pissed. I gotta go back into the script. Jeez.
This one you should be able to get this one.
Okay, I hope so because I'm what 2 for 4.
What's up?
I'm what 2 for 4. I can
Two
do
and a
this.
half.
Two
Four.
and a half. 2.5. Thank you.
That half point. Okay. Uh, I'll give you like two lines before as well because the line before is just hello. So,
Okay.
uh, no, you don't have to pay. Hello.
Hello, my name is Elder Price. No. Hello, my name is.
Elder.
Uh, is it not Elder Price?
No.
No, it's Elder
Smith.
Smith. Smith.
And then the line
Correct.
after that is, and can I leave this book for
With
you
you
just to
to
peruse?
just
To just
peruse.
peruse, yes.
Just peruse. I love that part too.
Two and a half out of five, but we can
See,
get some slack because like you just made it a debut, so
that's what I'm
like
saying. Just joined the
so
show like 3 weeks ago. There you go. I
you just
appreciate
gotta
the
make sure
grace.
your music director doesn't see this and
Oh
go.
man, he's literally in the other room. Justin, if you hear this, I'm so sorry.
Are they in the middle of the show right now? Or are they getting ready for it?
No, they're getting ready for
They're
it.
getting ready for it. You have
Yeah,
a
he's in a
seven
rehearsal right
thirty
now.
eight show.
7 o'clock.
7:30,
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the show has it's two acts, right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool, cool. So you get a little break throughout the
Exactly. Get a
yeah.
little breather.
Well, that's today's interview. I'd like to thank you for joining me.
Of course.